I'd like to wish everybody Gmach Simeteva without any buts. I think that's a very important comment. Okay. You talk about the short sentence, so we'll see what we can get out of it, and then we'll see what we'll do about the Yom Ha'olam. Okay. What's happening over here is the Moshe Rabbeinu, who, as long as he's around, Nisim happen. And it's tremendous confidence to have. Moshe Rabbeinu was there, took years to get that confidence. But here you had Kibush, they captured Sichen and Oig, and they divided it when Moshe was alive. How much time did it take him to divide it? Yeshua takes 7 years to divide Eretz Yisrael. In other words, every little thing that Moshe Rabbeinu did was 1, 2, 3. When everyone else did it, it took a long time. And he's saying goodbye, and he's telling you, you're on your own, kid. It's a tremendous Yish Hadas that the people have. But he's trying to mechazik them as much as he can by telling them that the Beinishim will take care of them. Or did he take care of him that he did like Sichen and Oig? No. It took 7 years to capture Eretz Yisrael. Sichen and Oig took 1 day. So obviously the Beinishim, whatever cheshbenis he had and stuff, Moshe, Yeshua is not Moshe. But we have to live. We have to live without Moshe. Moshe is not here anymore. And we have to have the same betoch on HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he's going to do the same thing for us that he did for Moshe. We may not see the great things that it is, but the results will be the same. It'll take longer. It may take, what he called, a little bit of aggravation, but it will not, but it will always be, if you have the right, what do you call it? Betochen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's going to happen. And in time, we can develop even halavai to Moshe Rabbeinu's madrega. But that takes time. So this is just the point of chizuk that the Rebbeinu Shalom is giving to Klal Yisrael and telling him, I'm there. I didn't leave you. You got to trust more a little bit. But then see, it's again, are we trusting in Moshe or am I trusting in God? You know, Moshe is here, but what am I trusting in? You know, God's not going to do anything to Moshe, so therefore I trust in Moshe. Whatever, however you want to call it. But obviously it's a little bit of a difference. Okay. Then he had, that was Mechazik Klal Yisrael. Then he had the Mechazik Yeshua. You got the guts, you have the ability. You can do it. I'm not you. You're not me. But you're you. And you also can do something. And this is in every generation that we have. More or less, our generations go down and down. Not obviously, not by a tremendous drastic amount, but in a point of, what do you, I'd say in certain things they're drastic amounts, but they're not drastic really. Of course, the amount, the leadership is pretty much the same. It doesn't make much difference. You have more or less the core you're doing. There's no grace of shinuyim that we have from one leadership to the other leadership. But the quality of the leadership is much different. You're talking about leadership, which and that a lot of people don't understand was the last law. It's the leadership. And I assume in the days before there were bigger Gedolei Olam. And these people led the door, and yet the door is able to continue. And you can still have disputes, you can have what he called, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that has nothing to do with leading the door. That has to do with interpretation of the Torah. But but to see the godless of the people, the different gedolim, different minds, different gedolim, different, the broadness of thought, how much they can absorb anything over there. That's what you need for leadership. So Baruch Hashem, we're still here. And we got a good leadership. And that is telling Yeshua, you're capable. You're not going to be me, you're right. I'm the sun, you're the moon. The moon is only a reflection of the sun. It's not even a light of its own. A bigger light and a smaller light. It's only a reflection of the sun. And yet, Yeshua and Zwan fits in like next to Moshe Rabbeinu. He is the next generation. That's what happens. And then he tells them about the Inyan HaKel. Now, there's a Gemara, we all know, Rabbi Shua, I forget who came to him, it's who Talmidim. And he asked them, he was really not going to the yeshiva those years, he was an old man. He said, and what chiddush was there in the Beis Medrash today? And they told him, you're the Rebbe. In other words, we came to learn, we didn't come to teach you. So therefore, what do you got to say? He said, Afal Pikein, ein Beis Medrash b'lo chiddush. There has to be a chiddush. There has to be something that was unique. Does that happen every single day? Could be. If it, we don't have all the information all over. But obviously that was the yeshiva. That was where everybody was, and yet the Gedei Le'olam was in there. All the Tanoim were there. So there has to be some kind of chiddush. Somebody came up with something. So he said, he asked them, whose week was it? It was Elazar ben Azariah's week. It was after they had the machlekes, they kicked up Gamliel out, and then they brought him back in. They made it 3 weeks of Gamliel and 1 week of Yeshua, Elazar ben Azariah. So those were the way it was. And the week that he was the Rosh Hashiva, he was the boss. So different things took place in different places because of the type of personalities that you had there. So he asked who Shabbos was. It was Elazar ben Azariah's. And he asked them, so what did he say? So he said that he asked the kasha. It says that in Tzava by Hakel, Anoshim V'taf. Men, women, and children. Says Anoshim came, the men came to learn. Noshim came to hear. Taf Loma Boy. What were the kids coming for? That's his kasha. And he said, Litein schar lemeviam. To give schar to the ones who bring him. And all of a sudden, Rabbi Yeshua joins up with such joy. And he says, the door that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah is can't be a door Yosin. He said the greatest genius of words here, and stuff like that there. And the Shiva asked, what did he say? We all know if you have a mitzvah, you're going to get schar for it. So what is the point that you're telling me that made Litain Salam Eviyam? What's the point? The question was, what's the purpose of the kids? And that Rabbi Yeshua said that the door won't be a Yor Yosem. What does that mean? So Shiva explained that, there are certain mitzvahs that people make up their own mind for the reason of the mitzvah. I have to send my son to yeshiva for what reasons? He should be good Talmud Chacham. My son is not going to be a Galador anyway. And probably won't even be a Talmud Chacham. And he probably is too weak to do it. And he doesn't have the brains to do it. A double program for sure not. Right? What else could they complain out? You know, whatever it is. So the Rebbeinu Shem told him, your job is to bring them. Your job is to bring them. You'll get schar for bringing them. I didn't ask you to decide who's going to be a Talmud Chacham, who's not going to be a Talmud Chacham. I told you to bring all the kids to the yeshiva. And then you find out that my kid is pretty smart. And he can take the double program quite easily. And he's not sick. And he's everything. And all of a sudden we have a different appreciation of our children. And that's what he told him. Don't give me any reasons why you bring in the kid. I said this on the Indian of Pruzbul, and that's why I learned the pshat of Pruzbul. Hillel was Misakim Pruzbul. What was the takona? So normally you learn the takona was that I'm going to collect my debts by writing this piece of paper. And with technicality, I gave it over to Bezdin and whatever it is there. So to the Rabbanan. The Rabbanan, I loaned you my money under the Reise, right? I don't want to be Semach on the Rabbanan to get my money back. So I am asking you to pay me up before Shemitah. So what have you created with that? You created a bunch of noises, people who are going to, press the guys they loan money to, because I want to be a tzaddik, I want to do only the Reise. I don't want to do with the Rabban, I want to be Semach on the Rabban. So I learned pshat that what the takon of Hillel was that every Jew must write a pruzbul, whether he has a debt or he doesn't have a debt. It doesn't make a difference. Every Yid must write a pruzbul. And once you have a pruzbul, you can't complain to me you want to do the derais already, because you're doing the Rabbanan. It's done. So therefore, that argument disappears. Okay, so this is the idea, is to mevatel the arguments that people will have for what they don't want to do. Okay. And he's going to tells him a new idea. You're dying, Moshe. You're going to die. And what are the Jews going to do? They're going to do Averos. How am I going to treat them? I'm going to treat them like this. I'm going to get angry, and I'm going to hide my face from them. And they're going to have all the troubles you could think of, royas, rabbis, v'tzoris. And when they have these problems, they start thinking, what did we do wrong? Why are we in such a mess? Why is this thing happening to us? And what would they say? The reason is because God is not among us. You want to do tshuva, right? That's what it says. God is not among us. So you want to bring God to us. And what am I going to do? Hasta pona b'yizay. I'm going to hide my face from them. And it doesn't say what happens. And after kisvol chem shir azois, write the shir. Well, how does that answer the problem? I want to know what happened. And we also have an interesting part that Esther is called Esther because hasta ponai. Esther v'natoy menayim, hasta ponai. But dear God saved them. So what is the problem that God over here somehow doesn't want to accept their children? Doesn't make sense. This is what I think. It says, what do they say? God's not among us, not in us. God's not here, you say that. Then you don't have the concept of what God is yet. I'm here now. I'm here always. He's never left. You don't believe in me, that's your problem, but I'm here. So therefore, if you're thinking that you have to bring me in, that means God has an end, has a gates. Whatever it is there, then I don't forgive you yet. You're still up the creek. You have to understand that I'm here, and I have the chance to do with everything and to fix everything. If you accept that as a fact, then that's what's going to happen. If you can't accept it as a fact, then forget about it. Obviously, Esther accepted it as a fact. Whatever it is there, the whole world was going nuts. Mordechai and Esther. Mordechai more than Esther, I guess, in that sense. In other words, it would be Vayelech v'Atzola will come to the Yidden for Mokamacha. Doesn't make, if you don't go to the king and you don't do it, whatever it is, Atl Beisavich Tavedu, you'll be destroyed. But Lamaisa Klal Yisrael is going to continue no matter what. That was his mind. His thing is that God is going to protect us completely. There's no question about it. Will people die, people not die? That somehow we didn't get into the conversation about. But the idea is that God is going to take care of us. So when you have us, that when God's going to take care of us, God never left us. So God's always here. So we have no problems. Just with the point of Simu B'Fihem, that somehow the Shira, Hazinu, is like, this is the deal. You know, I don't understand. He had the Teichach already twice. B'Chukaysei and Kisavai. He told you clearly what's going to happen if you don't listen to the mitzvahs, right? So what do I need Hazinu for? So, Parshas, I would say that Hazinu, I'm only saying this because I know about will be next week, that's why, so I'm only giving you a little bit of the beginning. That he made the Edis, Shemayim v'Oretz. Till then I told you what's going to happen. Well, who's going to do this to you? So the Edim are going to do this to you. They're going to decide your matzav. And they're going to act on their own to be able to do it. We find that the Rebbeinu Shem says, Yarev kamota likri, my words should be like rain. Tizal katal imrosi, it should be my words, and rosi also means words, everyone should be like tal, like dew. And Rashi says, the reason is because not everybody's happy with rain, but everybody's happy with dew. I don't know, I'm a guy, a city boy. I go up to the country, and not always in every place do you have to walk on cement or whatever or tar. You have to walk through the grass. And it's Shabbos. Got to walk to shul. It's a block or two. I come to shul. I take a look at my shoes, which I just polished out of Shabbos. It's all wet. And they're going to dry that way, and they're going to be splotchy. I look at my cuffs, which were freshly pressed before Shabbos, and they're all apart. And I'm not happy. So what do you tell me everybody's happy by do? I'm not happy. So I think what Rashi means is, rain, if if you get caught in the rain, you get soaked. Here, you don't get soaked. You have a room cuff. You have your shoes are not polished anymore. But that's not a big zach. If you listen to the mitzvahs, even the biggest troubles that you'll have will only be tal. If on the other hand you don't listen to the mitzvahs, or you do them for your own reasoning, then you'll end up with motto. And that's unfortunately a lot of the things that we see happen. In other words, I don't know to tell you what the correct, in 1 minute, what the correct way of getting married is. But we do know that there's tremendous tragedies in marriage. They don't last through the Sheva brachas. What are you talking about? How can it not last through the Sheva brachas? It doesn't even make sense. But they don't last through the Sheva brachas. So why? Why is that? Because you did it with your own cheshbenis. You didn't do it with cheshbenis that the Torah wants. What do you mean? He doesn't want me to have a good family? He doesn't want me to have what do you call it, about my taivas taken care of with my thing? He doesn't want, whatever it is. What do you mean? You know, God doesn't want it. Okay, I can't answer that question because I don't know the exact case. But if I know the exact case, I would tell you. There are things that you do that are not right. Whether it's Hanesi Isha, Mishum Znus, Mishum Mamina, Mishum Kovid, those things are not right. No, but it only says when we're psul. That's not true. Psul is also. But you're never supposed to do it for those reasons. The reasons you're supposed to get married is because I want to build a bais namli yisrael shem seferos. At the same time, I will take care of my taivas and other things that happen with it, and whatever it is there. But I don't go around that I want to do it for my taiva, which is Anei Sisha Mishum Znus. That's not the reason you get married. It's the reason you get married in order to perfect you for my Vayelech. Yes, that's true. But that's the reason, not the reason that the Benishim created marriage in the world. And then he tells you secondary thing. In Bos Ketal Mosi, Sisirim Aliyosef, the Deshe, Visivivim Aliyosef. This rain and dew should be able to affect like the winds. Rashi at least types that up on by Deshe and Kirvivim. Those are sharp rains that hits the leaf or the blade of grass. Specifically for it. I think what it means also, people have problems in life. There is no problem that the Torah does not address. The shaila is, how do I find the answer that finds complete talks to me? That's Kirvivim Aliyosef. That's the one the Torah will help you find. When you're looking and whatever it is there, you'll find the appropriate pasuk or whatever it is that applies to your situation. And the other one is that it should be like the strong winds. You find out which of the winds that produce the wheat in America. Those are the tornado states. So obviously you need those strong winds to strengthen the wheat, whatever it is it means there. Doesn't have to kill you though, but that's what it is. I want these words, what I'm telling you, the Torah should be able to strengthen you as if you had to go through the nisyonis. I don't want you to go through the nisyonis of life. I want you to be able to ignore the nisyonis, just learn Torah. You're not mechuyev to do it. But by learning Torah, you will be able to withstand all the nisyonis of life. Because in your arguments, in your discussions, and this, you find in the feeling and the emotions as if you are in there. You're not there, but you're in here, and you're able to withhold it, you're able to withstand it. That's what's going to happen to you. Okay, so that's Chazino. Let me tell you maybe two Wechtlach that I said on Yontif, which may affect, one is for Rosh Hashanah, one is for Yom Kippur. I'm going to try and tell you. Hope you get it in. We have two Parshas that was read on Rosh Hashanah. They're really connected, both in Parshas Vayelech. One is the first day, one is the second day. Okay? What is the purpose of the first day's Shriya? The second day, okay, they were looking for Slussim, I understand. But what is the purpose of the first day's Shriya? What do you call it? Tell me a story, they came for a bris, this and that, and they made a bris, and went up, and what's they got to do with Rosh Hashanah, what they got to do Yom Kippur? So I want to claim that in a way, to understand you can learn the first day, some of they want to talk about Yishmael, and what do you call it? The best that Yishmael could produce is Vashehu Shom. Okay, it's a good point. That Yishmael, even though you're a tzaddik, what do you call it? Only Vashehu Shom. In other words, and that we learn a good lesson for ourselves, that, God will not punish us as long as we're doing good. Okay, even though later, ultimately, we may fall down, right now He's not going to punish us. Okay, that's one thing. And Yitzchak is living, but it doesn't, still missing something. So I want to say that this parsha is the parsha of chizuk that the Rebbeinu Shem gave to all people, especially involved in chinuch, hadrocha, people who think they can benefit the world. Very cool. In other words, what is this story? It's a strange story. Fichol, Avimelech and Fichol come to Avram, and they want to make a shvuah and a nether over there. What kind of shvuah and nether? About what? Okay, doesn't say. And Avram comes, somehow gives Avimelech a bawling out about the wells that were stolen from him, right? And Avimelech answers him, I don't know who did it. I never heard about it until today. Whatever it is. So therefore, I feel free that I didn't address the problem because I didn't even know about it. So Avram gave Tzayin Ubaka, and he gives it to Avimelech Vayichel Shnei Bris. Avraham gives Avimelech Tzayin Ubaka. I don't understand. I always understood that a guy who's coming to do something, he's out Yodei al Tachton, and he's the one that has to pay. They came to me to make a bris, so you want to make a bris, give me some money. Give me something. You tell me you want to make a bris. Why am I giving you? Okay. Anyway, then we have a new thing. They call Be'esheva, V'yichzu Be'esheva, V'yokom Avimelech, V'yifichol, Tarsvoi, V'yoshuvu Eretz Plishtim. They went back to the land of Plishtim. I don't think we had the word Plishtim mentioned till now. He was Melech Geror, that he was the king of Geror. Didn't say the king of Plishtim. Happens to be Geror is in the land of Plishtim. Be'esheva is the land of Plishtim. But it's that he went to grow. He didn't go to Els Plishtim. All of a sudden you have a thing that's called Els Plishtim. Okay. Then it says, Vayita Isha Be'er Sheva. Avram built a yeshiva there, finally, which he didn't do until now, till the bris. Now he's doing he's able to do the yeshiva. And he's there, Vayoga Avram Be'er Plishtim, in the land of Plishtim, not anymore in Gro. Yomim Rabim, which turns out to be 26 years. Doesn't make sense. This is my take on the Parsha. Avimelech has a problem. In Yiras Elikim B'Mokim Hazeh. I've heard from historians that he's Hammurabi, the ones who went to school, learned about Hammurabi. You know that he's the guy that was Mefalsim Sheva Butzes B'nai Noach among the Goyim. Okay. Hammurabi. I don't know if we believe in Hammurabi, that I can answer you. But I'm talking about the history you learn in school. He's a big man, but somehow he can't teach Yiras Elikim to his people. They do it because that's the law of the land, and they pay attention. Why? Because they'll get punished. Abel, to say that they became former people believing in God, no. And things happen by him, wherever it is, even he partakes in part of it. And then he sees a Maisa, a strange Maisa. Avraham Avinu was a kind man, a nice man. What he called his Vaishon, Rachman. And they take his son, kick him out of the house, and maintain with him a relationship of love. How can that be done? And we see them at Roshim about it, how Avram visited him. He didn't even see him. He only saw the wives and left them messages. And the messages he understood and did what the messages told him to do. And ultimately he comes back to be with Avram by the Akedah and other places. So he had a thing that he loved Avram, and Avram loved him. And the fact that you kicked me out didn't have that effect. So how do you do that? How do you do that? That's what bothered Avimelech. If you can have someone that can do that, then I got to have him as my Secretary of Education. And I think that was the proposal of the Bris. I want you to take over the chinuch of Els Plishtim. And Avram asked him, in order to make sure that it doesn't miss Sharaim, what's the matzav about my wells? It's the same, I don't know anything about it. It's not responsible. Can't work that way. So he says, I don't want to become your what he called? I just want you to let me teach in Be'er Sheva. And for that I'm willing to pay you. And that's what he paid him. That's what he gave him the Tzedakah. And he went to teach in Be'er Sheva. And he built an Eishel, and he called it Olam. Now he held that we're going to reach the highest madrega of our Talmidim are going to be Talmidei Chachomim, Yerei Shemayim, Midas Toivos. I mean, everything you can think of, that's what our Talmidim will be. And Avram works on it for 26 years, and he has burnout. And he says, I'm not in Be'er Sheva, I'm in Eretz Plishtim. And that's why it says, Vayoga Avram Be'eretz Plishtim Yomim Rabim. He went and he left. He comes to the Akedah, right? And by the Akedah, It says after he turns, Vayoshem Avram el Ne'orov, came back to the kids, Shmuel and Eliezer, Vayokumu Vayechu Yachtov el Be'er Sheva. They went Be'er Sheva. Vayeshev Avram Be'er Sheva, and Avram he stayed in Be'er Sheva. Rashi says, no, it can't be. He's 12 years already in Hebron. And obviously, he comes back to Hebron. But Thomas saw Bekir Zalba, Vayove Avram Lisba Lisor with Kaisa. So Rashi, where did he come from? Be'er Sheva. So Avram went to Be'er Sheva. That was a fact. Why did you go to Be'er Sheva? You live in Hebron. Why are you going to Be'er Sheva? He said the reason he went to Be'er Sheva is because when he started off by the Akedah, he starts, it doesn't say why, but he says, Chumash Shiur, what he called, and he tells the, what do you call it, you stay here. Yeah. And we'll go right to the Akedah. And what's the reason for it? Because there was smoke coming up from the Midbar, and only Avram and Yitzchak saw it, and they didn't see it, so they'd have no shaykhs to the Akedah. In other words, what do they see? So that a Midbar can produce gadlus, can smoke smoke, it can smoke an age which comes up to Hashemayim. That means from a Midbar you can build Torah. If that's the case, what happened to Be'er Sheva? And he went back to Be'er Sheva to see what happened. And you know what he discovered? It wasn't Eretz Plishtim. It was Be'er Sheva. What's the difference? Eretz Plishtim is nothing. Be'er Sheva, they have minyanim. They all put on film without kavanah. They daven without kavanah. But they have minyanim. They wear tzitzis. They look Jewish like all our communities look. It's not what you wanted to build, but you created. You made different people. That's the point that you have to remember. There's no such thing as burnout. You created something. It's not what you wanted, maybe. Maybe your ideals were too high. Maybe your methods were not good enough. Whatever it is, you accomplished. That's the part that counts. That's the union of, I think, the Kriya over there, that's burnout. Now, I said this, I think, already on the Chumash Shiur once, but I'd want to repeat it because I think it deserves repeating. The Indian, and I still see that this problem exists because I asked the Bachel. When you say Shkrishma at night, do you say that paragraph before that you're moichel anyone that did you anything harm to you or to your money? Yeah. Are you angry at them in the morning? Yeah. So you weren't moichel them. And if you weren't moichel them, you're going to have a lot of tzolos, because you have tightness on innocent people. Because once you use the word mechila, it's gone. If I asked you to be moichel me mommy, and you can't tell me you owe me money, by the way. I don't owe you anything. You owe moichel me. That's gone. So you owe you. So how do we solve this problem? I want to say it. I want to be moichel to people. I really do. But I can't. So then don't say it. Well, what can I say? What can I be moichel them with? So I said, we can learn out from the union of slicha and mechila. Let's understand what they mean. In the normal Indian of kapora, always wanted forgiveness, is we want slicha mechila kapora, and they go for chatoyim chotosi avisi poshaiti. I did something b'shoyig, I did something on purpose, I did something in spite. What does that mean? So let's pretend you have to push through a crowd. And when you push and you want to get a little more room, you give the guy a good shot in the kishkis. But what do you do before you? You say, excuse me, and the guy says, okay, and you go weiter. That's what slicha is. He said, excuse me, even though you hurt me, even though you hit me. You didn't mean it, you didn't mean to hurt me, you didn't mean to do what he called. So therefore I'm able to give you slicha. It's nothing. It's called an excuse. Excuse me. Excuse. I do something amazing. I need mechila. I need to be forgiven because I know you didn't want it. I did it against you. And I want you to forgive me. That needs forgiveness. So there are two different levels. So what does a level of slicha do with mezid? And where do we find that? We find it in Chumash. By the Baraglim, the Beniman says, Solachti kidvarech. Parashi Nekev says, by the Egel, by the Nucha Shniyas, the Beniman says, Solachti kidvarech. It bothered me. It doesn't say, U'meichel you. It says, Solachti. Let's say Pshat is like this. The Reuven had the same problem we have. I'm willing not to kill you, but I'm not willing to make you my buddy. And therefore, if I was meichel you, I have to make you my buddy again. I don't want to do that. Solachti. I forgive you, meaning I won't kill you, but I'm still angry at you. Now, you can understand, they say once you give mechila, well, the Musa say, you have to put the guy back in the same position he was to you before. Now, how can I do that? Here I was, I had a friend, I told him all my secrets, and he then used them against me, and he took away my business, took away a lot of things from me. And now you want me to go back, and I'm willing to be meichel for the Yonshim, but you want me to give him and tell him back my secrets again? I'm not going to tell him my secrets again. He's not going to be my friend. You can tell him he never was my friend. Okay, good. So sometimes you see you can do that. Why? Let's say Yosef, for instance. Yosef in the beginning, when he used to squeal on his brothers for certain things, and it turned out it was not true. So what he go? Hey, that's Yosef. He's a kid. He doesn't have anything there. They didn't have any grace of tinus on him. They only had tinus on him afterwards when Ya'akov showed his love for him. But before then, they had no tinus on him. Yosef is Yosef. Yosef is a blabbermouth. What can you do? That's how you have to treat him. Okay, that was the thing. So that guy, after you tell him, don't be a blabbermouth anymore, maybe you can take him back to be a friend again, and tell him his secrets again. But a normal guy, how are you going to do that? So I want to create some kind of an Indian. I say, that's a slicha. So you say, guy asked me, how do you know? Maybe slicha, and you see Yom Kippur, we're only asking for slicha. We're only asking for mechila. We do the Indian thing there, but in the way I want you to say salachti, I want you to say this and this and whatever it is. So The guy asked me, how do you know you're right? I told him because it says, Salachti kidvarecha. I only am misalech them like you asked me. What did you ask me for? But not to kill them. You didn't ask me to forgive them. I didn't forgive them. Salachti kidvarecha. So that's another lesson I think we have to have from Yom Kippurim, that there's a way we can deal with it and say the word slicha. Now, what I think is the biggest lesson, though, which is good for Shalom Bayis, good for any friendship. So, two of the three Hishtach Avoyas that we do by the Avodah are on the par. One of is what do you call it? V'chiper ba'adoi v'ad beisoi, and the other one is v'chiper ba'adoi v'arecha v'akoyanim. In the Chumash it says both of them v'chiper ba'adoi v'ad beisoi, but in the way they break it up is this way, and the Gemara is who's beisoi, and beisoi is who ishta. So therefore, there's a special vidu he makes for his wife, and the second one he makes for his friends. And I think this is the way, why this is done. The third one is for ganz Klal Yisrael. I mean, my wife and my friends are part of Klal Yisrael. Why do I need to have a special vidu for them? This is a scenario that could have taken place because we do find conversations between the Kohen Gadol and the Rabbeinu Shalom and the Kodesh Kadoshim. Okay, so the first time the Kohen Gadol is there, the Kodesh Kadoshim, the Rabbeinu Shalom asks him, Kohen Gadol, what are you doing here? He said, I came to ask for forgiveness for Klal Yisrael. How long are you in office? I was just elected. Okay, forgiven. Nothing more to talk about. Next year, the Kohen Gadol is there again, and the Rebbeinu Shalom comes to him and says, Kohen Gadol, what are you doing here? And he says, I came to ask for forgiveness. He says, weren't you here last year? He says, yes, I was, but people fall down. Okay, fall down, okay, forgiven. Comes the third year. Says the Rebbeinu Shalom sees Kohen Gadol, what are you doing here? He says, I'm here to ask forgiveness for Klal Yisrael. He says, I don't understand. Weren't you here the last 2 years? You guys seem to never change. You always do the same thing. You do avayos. Then you come to me to ask for forgiveness. Why would I do it? Why would I forgive you? You're like, is that even planned? That you have to live up to it. I'll tell you what though, Kohen Gadol. If you forgive your wife and friends the same way, then I will forgive you. What does that mean? You had a fight with your wife, and you said, I'm sorry, or she said she's sorry. And then she does the same thing about a month later. Oh, you know, you never change, you always do the same thing. Or vice versa, the husband does the same thing. First of all, it's not true. For a week, a month, or two, he probably tried his best to do the right thing. He wasn't able to do it more than that. What do we ask the Rebbeinu Shalom for? Rebbeinu Shalom, I want you to forgive me for the mistakes, the shogegim, okay, that we can understand. The guy doesn't always think what he's doing, and he messes up, and whatever it is there. So we expect to be forgiven for that. But the mazid, I know you don't like it. I know you told me not to do this, and I did it, and I did it anyway. Why should I forgive you? But we want God to forgive us. And what about it when we do it lahachas? I knew it would get you goat, so I did it. That's even worse. And we expect God to forgive us. So the Rebbeinu Shalom says, you treat your wife or your husband, your friends, in this way, I'll forgive you too. You don't have to be a Kohen Gadol. That's not the issue. We're regular Yidden. You're asking God for forgiveness of Yom Kippurim. But I'm still angry at 20, 55 other people. I can't be angry at them and ask God to forgive me. Whether they ask me Mechila or not, I don't have to forgive them Mechila-wise, but that anger and that stuff shouldn't be there. Because once it's gone, it's gone. That's what you have to figure out. Anything else that would be a lesson? I guess Ava. You're supposed to serve God with Ava. You think you're doing it? I don't believe you. How can you relate to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with Ava? No such thing as that kind of relationship. I don't see him. I don't know that he's there. It's only an idea. So you have to try and understand what love is in your own mind. Many people say they love their spouses, right? Why do you love your spouses? Very interesting people. We have good jokes. We have good conversations. Efficient, good cook, beautiful, whatever the particular thing that you have. All of those things are for you, not for them. It's like a guy says, I love chicken. What does he mean? He loves the chickens, let them grow up and see what they are. He means he likes to eat them. I mean, he likes to eat them. So what's the big deal? So somewhere I got to reach the madrige of loving Yenim to give him or her something. And that's what the Gemara, that's what the mission is telling you. Ezu avat tluya b'dava, what do you call it? David, and tluya b'dava, that's Yonatan and David. They didn't have a love for each other in that sense. They loved the same things, the same Hashem. They wanted to do for Hashem. They wanted to be involved with Hashem. Whatever it is, they were equal to that. So therefore, I want to be Mahane, my friend. That love will remain. So the same thing goes in what's love. Is I want to give you something. I want to give you something. Not because you're going to give me anything back, and not because you did sing as I'm a pro quo. I'm not even giving you to pay off for what you did for me. I'm giving you something because I want you to have something. I want to give you something. So maybe that's a part for Kabbanis also. I want to give you something, even though it doesn't mean anything. But okay, I want to give you something. You have such an emotion, if you want to say. But I don't think that that's the point of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'Yahava. Doesn't mean how are we going to touch up by the Asli and the Lulav and Hadassin for that outrageous prices that they're charging for what do you call it? Of course, I want to show God how much I love Him. But then, good, it is something. It is an Indian, no question about it. But do I do it for that? So I said I can bring a raya maybe from the guy that's Chayiv Misa. Rambam brings down that even the Chayiv Misas are mechuyev to misvaded before they kill them. And I think, so what do we mitzvah? Hotos the visi pushaiti, right? I'm not going to do it again. Of course not. You're going to be dead. So how are you going to do it again? I have charot alo avar. Of course you have charot alo avar. You got caught. So you don't have charot alo avar. Right? So what did you do? What remorse are you showing? So I think what I'm asking you to do, and what we have to do, to show an ava, is do we understand what God has done for me? God's done many things for me. First, after we believe God, we don't believe that, so then you're right, it's a big question. But assuming I'm a guy who thought through God, and I understand this God, and I see this God, I see the different mice and that there's a God, and I see what He did for me, what God has done for me. He did good things for me. How can I be such a rotten guy and do these things against His laws? This is a picture, and that's only words. My voice is floating off somewhere. Anyway, have a good year, a gemar simeteve. No buts. Remember that. No buts. A good Shabbos. Not slocha rather. Very well. Thank you. Thank you. I got a big mazel tov. Mazel tov. Thank you. I became a great-great-grandfather. I reached that madrega last night. Okay. Became 5 days last night. Shabbos, mazel tov. Okay, good job, good job.